Hey, friend.
Hey, girl, hey.
I'm very excited about this episode.
I bet you are.
Are you not?
I'm excited to learn.
See, I think I'm excited to learn from you.
You all know the title of this episode if you clicked on it. Who out of the two of us is the expert on this topic?
I'm not an expert, first of all. But there are things that maybe you learn from your grandma.
Okay, this is true. Thank you for bringing that in. Maybe other ways that I have welcomed wellness. Speaking of which, I do have something. Thank you for saying that.
Of course. Okay, so weirdest wellness thing you've ever done. You start.
So let's just start by saying that weird is definitely subjective.
Totally.
Okay. Right now we are filming in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And I think what would be considered weird here or normal here is probably not true for the South or Middle America, right? So there's something about what community you are a part of. The first thing that comes to mind, though, is definitely the Temescal with you in Tulum a few years back. It was for your birthday. It's for your 40th birthday,
My 40th
right?
birthday.
And you took me in a 200-degree tent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're smiling. It was horrific at first, and I did not think I was going to make it. And the thing about it is, in environments like that, the worst thing you can do is open your eyes. Because for me, when I opened my eyes and all I saw was blackness, I immediately began to freak out. But I stayed the course. I took a little bit of break. I've told the story before. Me, you, and Victor, we went outside. I was purging so many things. And you all convinced me. You said, you can do it. You can go back in. And I went back in, and that kicked off a tremendous healing journey for me. So I actually appreciate the Temescal, even though I do still kind of roll my eyes a bit.
Okay.
What about you?
The weirdest thing I've ever done?
Yes.
I mean, are we talking body work? Are we talking... I mean, I think, like, I don't know, because maybe stuff that's normalized here feels abnormal, but I feel like I'm also in a more extreme end.
Oh, okay.
Of things I'm willing to try.
Okay.
So, like my normal day-to-day wellness things, I think maybe a lot of people would feel are odd.
Okay.
Like, I'm now on a juicing spreadsheet with some friends.
So
we get to great every week. One of your friends is on it with me.
Stop lying, Margo. None of my friends are on your juicing spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, okay. Okay, don't out them on the podcast.
I would never. But they're both of our friends.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. We'll talk about it after the episode. So you get together and talk about your juices?
We don't even have to talk. Every week we have a juice and we all make it and then grade it.
So, okay. And you feel like Excel is helping you to track?
Google Sheets.
Google Sheets is helping you to track.
Well, it hasn't started yet, but it's starting next week.
Okay, but there's so many things about this that I am enamored by. So the fact that you built community around juices is very interesting, but it's the tracking of the juices also.
Well, it's not for like caloric purposes. It's like what juice is gonna like hit us the right way. Like some juices people are going to say like, ooh, this is great. It's like spices up my life. Or other people will be like, this is good for digestion. Or this is a little too sweet for me. Like some people don't like sweetness in their juices. I need at least a little sweetness, but not too much sweetness.
This is true.
Okay.
And so the Google Sheets is really going to make that thing plain for y'all. Okay.
Okay, so that's something that I'm doing like on a weekly basis. I fast biannually.
I know. Yeah, you caught me up in that shit one time too.
Right. I do an anti-cancer fast biannually.
I'm literally never doing that again.
Right. So
you spray that stuff on your feet at night.
I spray magnesium on my feet at night.
I think let's just knock on the door. Hi, hello, how are you? Margo Lindauer. Why? What has welcomed this part of wellness into your life? And have you always been this way?
Okay, so yes, no, yes. So I have not always been this way, but I've always been really interested in wellness and nutrition.
Okay, I believe that.
I think maybe it came from diet culture, but I actually don't think. I've always been really interested in the human body. I thought I wanted to be an obstetrician for a long time.
Oh, wow.
But I don't like science really. So, and I I can't deal with when people throw up, except my kids. So anyway, so I did not go that route, but I've always really liked taking care of people. I've always been really interested in bodies. I've always believed in wellness as a form of healing, and I've
Okay.
always not felt totally well
Mm-hmm.
and never felt completely like understood or heard from by my doctors.
Okay.
And then after 2021, when I found out I had BRCA2 and had a double mastectomy and all the ovarian surgery and all this stuff, I felt really, really sick every time I ate. Like every time I ate anything, my stomach really hurt. I never had real stomach pain issues before.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a doctor and he told me just to take a lot of Miralax every day.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, this is just not the answer. I can't live my life like this. Every time I
Yep.
eat anything, my stomach is burning. And so I started working with a holistic nutritionist. And that was kind of after the Temescal. So I've always been
Yeah.
interested. I've always been interested in heat and sauna and eating well. But that really kicked off like trying to understand my body in a different way.
To the point that now you and friends are
Juicing.
you have juicing spreadsheets. What has the benefit been for you, in all seriousness? Because I actually really, I give you shit for it because it's funny and weird, but
No, I don't care.
I actually really admire you for it.
No, I think that, so I know we talked in another episode about like pretending to be who you want to be before you get there.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And so one thing I really want for myself is to be more hands-on in the kitchen making my own food. And I really enjoy juices. I do.
Yeah, you
and
do.
So I miss the sisterhood of doing things in community.
Yeah.
So the idea, I mean, it's not the same as like making juices together, but like doing it together and keeping each other accountable and getting the ingredients and sharing ideas, I really like. I think the other thing is that I've learned a lot from people about ways that they've supported their wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And I have learned a lot from things I've done. So like my Whoop, thanks to Whoop for sponsoring us, has been super helpful too in me understanding how, for example, dehydration impacts my sleep negatively, or movement impacts my sleep positively, or how stress impacts my body negatively. And so just kind of getting or alcohol, for example. And so getting a higher awareness of how my body is just metabolizing the world is interesting to me.
And what about retreats? Because that's also something you have done and you're doing more of
today.
This year.
I'm going to a retreat this weekend on sleep.
Yeah, your sleep retreat.
I'm going to a breathwork retreat in March. I've tried a whole bunch of different things. And so one of the things that I learned over the last couple of years is, so I've shared this on the podcast that I was punched in the face in law school and broke my nose. And I realized that I wasn't breathing deeply because I couldn't breathe through my nose. So I had rhinoplasty to like fix my broken nose. And now I smell so much more. Everything is so much more intense.
Wow.
And I can, not like a normal person, but because I still have some quirkiness in my nose, but I can do a lot more breath work stuff. And so
Nice.
I don't know, have you ever done a breath work session?
I have, and I love it. Well, first we did a breathwork workshop at our supper club.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that was amazing. And I'd done one once before. It is
getting that much oxygen into your brain.
Fantastic. I'm just a believer in like somatic healing, period.
Right.
So that, yeah, it's beautiful.
I think for a busy brain like mine or yours, kind of focusing on one thing like breath not only has obviously physical benefits because you're getting more oxygen into your body,
Yeah.
but it kind of slows down whatever's going on in there.
The overstimulation.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm excited for that too. It's also kind of a challenge for me. So like I know you don't believe this, but I'm not good in groups. I'm not good in groups. I can get very shy, and I have a lot of imposter syndrome in this wellness world and skepticism.
And And healthy, the latter, not the former.
And so, but one thing that has happened in the last 3 years is that 4 years, my God, I have met so many more people than I ever would have met in my former life.
Yeah.
And learned so much. And so that expansion has only brought a lot of good things for me.
Yeah. So can we talk a bit about the weird wellness things and how they can kind of drift off into a scary place?
Yes.
Because you talked about the skepticism. So I immediately thought about raw milk. I thought about the anti-vaxxers. Algorithm, please don't pick that up and put us in the wrong corner of the internet. Where do you lie with being a part of the community, but not being a part of that part of the community for people who might be interested?
I think that the visibility of someone who, I think my advocacy is in being visible in the gray
Okay.
and being able to say that Western medicine as it exists in this country now isn't working for a lot of people, and that people have gone through whatever resources that they can access to find methods to heal their bodies and minds. And some of that has gotten dangerous, but some of it is really, really supportive. And so that's where I want us, or I'm not putting this on you, but like where I want to be more visible to say, yes, we need more access to clean, good, whole food.
100%.
We need access to clean water.
Access to water if you're in Richmond, Virginia at the time of us filming this.
We need access to safe spaces to move our bodies.
Yeah.
And to be able to walk safely outside without being run over or scared or in a polluted environment. And sometimes you have a bacterial infection and you need to take antibiotics, and that's okay.
Both of those things can be true. They don't.
You know, like you can believe in the benefits of sauna and get vaccinated for the flu. It's not either or.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of the previous episode that we filmed. It may be out now, depending on how we release them, but about how some of these communities, for example, trad wives, have always been around, but it's almost like they become even more myopic and insular because of the internet. And so there have been people who have believed in, a healthy, holistic lifestyle in a particular way that we're discussing today forever, like the whole hippie movement, for example. But it's just now it's become very either or.
And I think that like certain things have been some things have been categorized as bad and other things as good. Like, how has raw milk just writ large theoretically been categorized as good, where antidepressants that have saved millions of people's lives in conjunction with other support have been categorized as bad?
Yeah. And you can have a critique of big pharma, like I'm sure a lot of these people do, but also recognize the benefit of antidepressants.
Correct. Because we've learned in my program, like everyone is bio-individual.
Okay.
Right. So we could present with similar symptoms, but what's causing those symptoms, whether they be physical or otherwise, could be something totally different. And so it's really up to the practitioner and the client to kind of understand what's environmental, what's lifestyle, what's just genetic, what can be changed, what can't be changed, and kind of work from there.
Yeah. This reminds me, though, of when you say like bio-individual, of the amount of work that has to be done to get to the root of one's symptoms and how that can be a privilege, which we
Totally.
know. So you know that I've had digestive issues since we've known each other. I vividly remember this starting out when I was probably about 17 or 18 years old. And over the years, it kind of presented as, oh, I just got trapped gas, ha, 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 to the point where last year, I was in so much pain that I could barely like stand up straight. And so finally, towards the end of last year, I decided to see a nutritionist for the first time. And I also was feeling so horribly one day, Margo, that I was just like, fuck it. I am going to do something about this. I've got to see a GI doctor. Saw only the second GI doctor in my life since I've been having these issues. And together, I've had so much relief. I keep a food journal. We talk about it. I did a low FODMAP diet. I have
Can you share
FODMAP
what low
supplements.
FODMAP is for people who don't know?
So if you are struggling with IBS, no matter if it presents as constipation, diarrhea, or something in between, you likely are being triggered by what's called FODMAPs. And now this is an acronym that I do not know all of the words of, nor could I pronounce. You should look it up. We are not medical professionals. But those triggers can be anything from very ripe bananas to, for me, I found out it was onions. It is a list of things that are high FODMAP. And you go on about a 2-week elimination diet and you slowly introduce those things back into your diet. For me, it was so helpful because even though I don't think I'm at the point where I know all of my triggers, and sometimes IBS is going to just present itself, what I do know is working with professionals has allowed for me to at least say, garlic and onions, bitch, you tried it. Like your stomach is not going to end up well. And also to say, oh, I got me one of those little like squatty stools.
Squatty potty.
So that might be a weird wellness thing. I got me a squatty potty where
That's a weird wellness thing. I also have one, but I wasn't going to say it.
They also recommended pelvic floor therapy.
I've done that.
And which
wait, keep going and then we can play this game.
Which I will be doing very soon. I take a probiotic supplement every single day. You recommended,
make sure you have a quality one.
Thank you. You recommended a colon cleanse supplement, which girl, I didn't want to talk to you about my shit, but when I tell you that thing worked in overdrive, I had to peel back off of that colon cleanse supplement. And so it
worked though, right?
You were really into my poop, and I just, bitch, friendship.
But
Thank
it worked,
you.
right?
That's what I'm saying. Yes. And so I felt some discomfort, but I also know that that is just part of the process of getting to figure out how I can have a better day-to-day existence. And what it reminds me of is that, once again, this is just, it can be a privilege and it should not be.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm hoping to kind of normalize. And that your body just changes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think that's something also that we need to just normalize. Like, I'm sure I did not know you in high school, but you could have eaten anything and nothing affected you.
Not one thing.
In terms of weight, in terms of your tummy, in terms of how it impact your sleep, nothing. And now it does.
And now it does. And I think whether it is your Whoop or some other device, being able to like track this data, I have found to be
so
very helpful.
data tracking can be really helpful for some people or very harmful for others.
How?
So, I think if you have like an eating disorder or body dysmorphia or maybe I'm not a medical or obsessive compulsive kind of inclinations, like having data can make you really wed to the data. Like I remember I had a student once who like wouldn't sit down until she got 10,000 steps.
Okay.
At all during the day.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Okay.
So but I think for a lot of people, data can be really helpful. And as we've talked about, our life and lifestyle have changed over time.
Oh yeah.
Right. I was talking to my sister-in-law who used to work, she's a PT and used to work in the hospital and now works in an online setting.
Okay.
And she said that, a couple months after she moved jobs, she was just feeling like lethargic and she didn't really understand why, because she's a very diligent worker outer person and she's a weightlifter, a bodybuilder. And she's like, I just wasn't feeling the same. And I track a lot of stuff, but I looked back at my steps and I realized that when I was in the hospital, this is just one example, I was walking about 5 to 6 miles a day.
Yeah.
And then at home, I wasn't walking at all.
Yep.
And that all of a sudden, she had to figure out kind of how to incorporate that sort of movement back in her life.
So the data was helpful.
The data was helpful. I am really excited because I am about to start. Do you know what a CRG is? No. CGL?
No. I don't know what any of those C's, R's, G's, or L's are.
A continuous glucose monitor. Wait, CGM.
Oh, wait, girl. You don't even know what it's called. It's people have it on the back of their arms. Okay, what is that for?
So a lot of people who have that, they were first created for people who struggle with type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
Right, to see how your like when you need glucose, and then some have glucose in them, so it like
interesting.
it just I think it's like micro doses throughout the day depending on your blood sugar levels.
Okay.
And now it's become another tool for health. So some people, so your body responds differently to sugars.
Okay.
Right, and your level of satiety.
Okay.
Is
meaning like feeling full.
Is directly dependent on blood sugar fluctuations. So like the higher your fluctuations, the more hungry you're going to get. And some people become very tired, for example, when you have high blood sugar and then low blood sugar.
Yes, I've heard this.
Or maybe it's the opposite, like low blood sugar and then high blood sugar. And for those on whatever health journey they may be on, getting some of that data for your bio-individual body, like what types of food keeps your blood sugar level, what types of food keeps your blood sugar level and you full, what types of food spikes your blood sugar and then maybe makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I got one for 3 months. I haven't put it on yet because it hasn't been delivered, but I'm excited.
But how do you not like feel like a robot? What if you just want a piece of fucking cake? Like, do you still eat the cake?
Yeah, I think you do if you want it, but then you see how it affects your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about it too from kind of like, I know this sounds weird, just a business lens. Like, is this helpful? How is this helpful? Is this something I would recommend to my patients?
Yeah, this is true. For folks who do not know, Margo is in the process of becoming a certified nutritionist.
Nutritional therapy practitioner.
Ooh, nutritional therapy practitioner.
Nutritionist is more school.
Okay.
But anyway, some people really swear by it. I don't know. I mean, I think of course there's that risk too that you become like. Have you seen this new documentary on Netflix called Don't Die?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's you will hate it, but you need to watch it. It's about the Silicon Valley guy who started Venmo.
I know who you're talking about. Like I know him and I know what he's up to. I've not seen the documentary though.
How do you know him?
I mean, I don't know him personally, Margo, but I'm saying I remember reading an essay, it might have been in the paper or something, about him on this journey to figure out how not to die. Yeah.
And right.
And
so
it includes some cryotherapy too, right?
Cryotherapy,
I think he's a fan of
he gets like Botox in his penis.
Oh, that makes sense.
He like works on hair regrowth. He gets plasma from his son.
Come on, man.
Look, people can go to wild extremes, but again, I find it all just interesting, I guess. Like it's not that I like believe in it, and I think his example is very sad. We're all going to die, and I think aging is a blessing. And I think the idea of fighting aging as a form of health is a little backwards. But I think there is a version of aging with comfort.
And ease. Absolutely. I think about that all the time. Like I heard someone say, work out now for the body you want when you're 80. And
there's a lot about that right now.
Yeah, that really stuck with me because I haven't been the most physically active person my whole life. Look, I've had skinny privilege. I haven't had to, I haven't felt compelled to. I've always had to, but I've not seen that as a necessity. And so now that I'm in this phase where I am becoming more active and trying to find things that I enjoy, it's like on the days when I don't feel like getting up and riding the Peloton or going to the gym, oh, wait a minute. At someday, God willing, I will be 80 years old. And how can I make my life a bit easier then based upon what I do now?
Exactly. So it's all information.
It's all information. It's all data.
So have you ever done intermittent fasting?
So no, actually, no. I did the fasting program with you, but that's not intermittent, right? No, that's where you like don't eat for certain periods of time. I don't quite understand the health benefit of that. Is that a fad or is that a real thing?
I mean, some people really believe in it. Some people around blood sugar stuff really believe in it. I have a really hard time with it because I wake up starving.
Right.
So have you ever done a juice fast?
Absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Have you ever done a colonic?
I've never done a colonic. And my mom has been recommending that given my digestive issues. Yeah.
Have you ever used beef tallow?
I don't know how do you use it?
Like on your skin?
Girl, no. You want me to rub? What is tallow anyway?
It's
Like fat?
Yeah.
Why would you rub beef fat on your skin, Margo?
A lot of people think it's nourishing. Have you ever used emu oil?
What the fuck is emu oil?
You know an emu from Australia?
The animal?
Yeah, they produce a specific oil that
Where does it come from? What do you mean they produce that? Where is the oil produced from?
they're fat.
No. I'm not gonna do that. I'm okay.
Have you ever gotten a stomach massage?
No, but I remember that lady rearranged your organs when we were in Tulum. And she rubbed that egg across your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you felt a tremendous healing from that.
I dream about that. Like on a monthly basis, I dream someone is pressing hard on my stomach.
And she cracked the egg, and then that released all the toxins. The egg.
She told me I was carrying a lot of stuff in my stomach.
Yeah, and the egg drew it. That stuff absorbed into that egg.
So someone on my juice spreadsheet, my friend, told me that once she had an organ massage.
An organ massage. Okay.
I assume you didn't do that. Have you ever done a vagina steam?
Now I've done a vagina steam.
I haven't.
I have, and I want to do another one. Now the one that I did, we set on a pot with herbs, and then they put a trash bag on top of you.
So you sweat,
and because they don't want the steam to get out as it's penetrating your vagina. Does it burn
your vagina?
No, it wasn't that. I mean, I was uncomfortably hot by about 30 seconds in, but it's not like enough steam that it burns you.
Okay. Did you feel?
We want to do another one soon, though.
I mean, I've never done one. I'm just putting it out there. I would like to try one.
The one that we hope to do, they put a thing inside your vagina.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, well, I
they
thought
touch
it was
your vagina?
Interesting. Well, maybe they don't put it inside, but they put it near.
Oh, sure. I can do that. Okay, have you ever used snail mucin?
On my skin, I have.
Shut up, Tashira.
No, I promise you, a lot of Korean skincare has snail mucin in it.
And you're giving me a hard time about emu oil? Okay. Psychedelics.
Yeah. That was a good experience. I highly recommend psychedelics for people to do it safely for people who are in a safe space, one, but are interested in digging deeply to like an emotional space. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Have you ever ordered health products off the internet that have been marketed to you through social media?
I have absolutely not. But also my algorithm doesn't show me that kind of stuff. I'm sure you probably see it all the time.
That's like all I see.
Oh no, I've never seen anything.
Would you ever order a protein powder off the internet from Instagram?
No, I would not.
Me neither.
Yeah, because that's the part of marketing that I'm pretty like adept at being able to decipher. A lot of this is snake oil. It's a grift. And what I really hate is that wellness has been commodified in this way. Like you aren't going to heal yourself off Instagram.
No.
It takes what I think we're describing today, which is obviously a dedication, commitment, and intention, but also people who have knowledge and expertise around you and who can recommend like good quality products.
Yeah. And I also think that wellness, similar to our conversation that we had earlier today around trauma, right? Wellness isn't a thing. There's no like, you don't like get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so it's a process that changes and iterates. And so this idea of making habit changes that lead to changes, but take a lot of time.
A lot of time.
I remember like consciously being like, I need to focus on my stomach because I can't live like this. That was probably 2.5 years ago. Mm. And not that it's perfect, but it is so much better. And it has taken a lot of different kind of changes that I've made to what I eat, how I move, what I drink, how I supplement my body.
And I would say the same thing for your sleep.
Same. It's not
years.
overnight.
Yeah. While the Whoop is a great like
It's a tool.
accoutrement. It is a tool. The Whoop didn't make you sleep better. Your dedication to
Right.
determining what
And
your
these
body
micro
needed.
changes. So when I think of wellness, I think of a lot of. Oh wait, I have more questions. Have you
Sure.
ever had a lymphatic drainage massage?
I have not.
Oh, it's so amazing. Have you ever had an oxygen facial?
With the machine, I have. I like
That's
those.
crazy, right?
Yeah, but they suck all the stuff out your skin.
Crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. What other wellness things? Have you ever had a foot detox bath?
No,
I haven't either. I really want
I've
to
heard
try
about
that.
those. Yeah.
Have you ever done a pedicure with fish?
Naturally, yes. But it wasn't intentional. Like it wasn't getting a pedicure, but I actually went to this amazing lake called Vulak Mini in Greece, and then there were fish there that ate
Your dead skin?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, if you want to talk about going to the source, that's what that was.
So I think like one of the takeaways for me about weird wellness stuff is that while I'm really interested, there's no one thing that makes you well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And a lot of it is just habit changing and really incremental and kind of checking in with yourself where you are. So, I mean, I know we've talked about this before. The Whoop has been incredibly helpful for me. So, if people are interested in seeing how much they're moving or sleeping or resting or recovering, I highly recommend the Whoop. You can use our code JusticePod. But tools are just tools. Like the Whoop doesn't make you healthy.
Mm-mm. And it's also important for us to remember that, as you've already said, this is not an all or nothing approach. It's collecting data, it's figuring out what works for you. And I would argue, at least for me and my lifestyle, an integrated approach, which was an important part of my cancer treatment. And I think about someone like Amanda Lewis, who came out a few months ago. For folks who do not know her, Black woman. I just think of her so nostalgically because she was kind of one of those early MTV VJs from the mid to late 90s. And she came out and talked about her stage 4 cancer, breast cancer diagnosis specifically. And for folks who do not know, there's technically no cure for stage 4 breast cancer.
That's metastatic. That means it's spread.
It has spread. And so while some people in light of a host of treatments might be able to live long term with that diagnosis.
That's living with cancer.
But you're living with cancer. And it takes an aggressive treatment for many people in order to be able to do that. And so your quality of life definitely takes a hit in order to just be alive. And what Amanda talked about in an interview that I saw with her and a few other people was how she first started on a completely holistic, kind of naturopathic approach to treating this cancer, and she was committed to it. And as she told her story, they were questioning her, like, do you think you made the right choice? Would you do it again? And she said, well, the truth is, I just ran out of money. That a lot of the things, she said, I will never know if what I did worked or not because I could no longer afford to continue the naturopathic healing. And that just struck me like a ton of bricks that for various reasons, agree or disagree with the 100% naturopathic approach. The reality is for many people, either we enter those spaces too late or we do not have the ability to stick to the regimens that we're being told are so vital and critical.
I also would say that in the cancer community and in the wellness community, there's been a lot in some corners of the internet and communities, a lot of skepticism around cancer treatment.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And I just want to caution people against jumping to conclusions. And again, that's where I hope we can sit, that like a lot of these remedies can exist concurrently. You can be going through chemotherapy and supporting yourself nutritionally.
That's what I did.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there has been so much research into cancer treatment. A lot of it does impact your quality of a life, but a lot of it helps cure cancer. Mm-hmm. And I just worry that particularly vulnerable individuals are susceptible to feeling like doing cancer treatment is not fighting cancer holistically.
And let's not forget the chokehold that the internet has on people and how this information is targeted once again to certain communities. I mean, there's a whole category of misinformation called health skepticism. And I think it doesn't take very many clicks to get there. Next thing you know, you don't believe in vaccines. You don't believe that you have your fertility just because you have been on birth control. And you believe that CBD oil is going to cure cancer. And like I said, it does not take a bunch of clicks to get to that point. And so it can be another grift as well.
Absolutely.
Because these treatments and natural healing centers are very, very, very expensive, to Amanda Lewis's point.
And a lot of them make people who've gone through treatment feel like they're not natural or healthy.
Yeah. Now, I hate to use this term in this way because we know who else likes to do it, but almost like we're not woke enough.
Yeah. It's interesting. I saw a menopause doctor. So I think about this a lot, and like the universe gave me the hand that I was given for a reason, right? That I like want to live this healthy lifestyle and want to be well in a particular way. And I have had breast implants and a nose job and have been on 7 courses of antibiotics in the last 3 years because of all my surgeries. And in addition to and I'm on hormone replacements that are made by the pharmaceutical industry, among other things. And like the universe presented this to me as a way to show me that both can be true, right? Like you don't have to be a purist to be healthy.
Yeah.
And you can let modern medicine assist you and treat you.
Okay, so last question then. What about those people who do say that they were cured from whatever the natural treatment is? Are we to deny that experience, or do we not believe it? Is it possible?
I think just like those folks are skeptical of modern medicine, we can be skeptical of curing yourself with raw milk. And maybe there's some value in very clean raw milk for some people. But again, I just don't think anything is a silver bullet. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I also think that when those people are kind of heralded as, look, it worked for da-da-da-da-da. Back to your point about us being very individual biometrically, we don't know what else has been working in that person's entire body,
I just
environment.
Feel like, exactly. I mean, I think about that when people are like, well, like I cured my depression through breath work, or I cured my depression through yoga, or you're not trying hard enough, or I cured this. And it's like, maybe, sure. I mean, maybe that's possible. But would anyone expect you to go through surgery without anesthesia?
Right.
If you had to walk across the street and there was broken glass and you had the chance to put on shoes, wouldn't you put on shoes?
Absolutely.
And so I think we've gotten into this space where we've heralded things as healthy that maybe have some basis in reality, right? We are an over-medicated society. We are, like, some people don't use the tools that are at their own disposal or don't have access to those tools. But also, we have modern medicine that has increased the lifespan of people in the last 100 years drastically.
And we should not ignore that, is I think where we stand. Well, friend, I'm looking forward to other weird things you're going to do this year around your health. I'll be there cheering you along from the sidelines. I might jump into a thing or two. I might, because it's always inspiring. And I am a very curious person. I'm a bit adventurous as well. So I'll see if something really piques my interest.
Okay. I have some ideas.
Oh, God. Okay, you guys, stay tuned. Thanks for listening to Justice. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to learn more about our podcast, be sure to check us out on our website at justicepodcast.com. You can also reach out to us there if you want to be featured on the show, or if you have a business or a product that you think would be a good fit for our audience. Thanks again for listening.